everybody. My name is Ryan Christopher. I am a licensed esthetician and I have been in the industry for almost 20 years. I'm also a licensed massage therapist, makeup artist. There's so many aspects of this industry that we absolutely love and why it's so attractive to be in it. I've joined recently with Moderne to help deliver some education to the audience out there, let other skincare professionals know how impressive this brand and its results truly are. And I have been using the brand directly myself for over 6 months now. The results I am seeing are mind blowing, to be perfectly honest. Now, there are a lot of great brands on the market, but one thing I can say is that this brand is bringing you some very true and unique formulations. During my time and working closely with Richard Purvis, the CEO of the brand, he's given me a lot of in-depth information about how he goes above and beyond to not only source the latest technology, but to work with specialized manufacturers that know how to use ingredients in formulation accurately so that we can get the best results without inflammation. So you're going to learn a lot as you attend these webinars over the next couple of months while we really dive into the science behind this brand and really drive home the point of why it's so effective. And I'll tell you what, from my own personal and professional experience in product development, this brand is going above and beyond. You're not going to find any other formulas like theirs on the market because they own their own formulation. And that's something that is a huge point of difference. If you have the opportunity to join us at the NASN Pro Conference this coming May 1st, which is a Monday, we're going to be at that conference. And I would absolutely love for you to join us there. So I'm going to make this our primary screen. Here we go. All right, so now that we're together in the room, I want to overview the layout of the brand so that you understand exactly what you're working with. Other than the Nano Fusion and the Ultra Fusion, the entire brand is right here on these two shelves, as you can see. And this is something that as a small business owner is very, very important because you don't need to swim in an entire massive brand with multiple serums that do similar things. A lot of times when product brands tend to grow a little too large, some of their products overlap each other. So you're going to find within the Moderne brand that every single product has its place, and a lot of them work synergistically together while also being very effective separately. So when I have clients that are impressed with the results that they get in the treatment room, but then they're not quite sure how to integrate this brand into their daily routine, I usually get them started with cleansers and moisturizers and then start to work them into other particular actives, unless there is a direct concern that they have. And then I might go direct to a particular serum that addresses their concern. So let's walk through the layout of the brand. As you can see, I have the professional bottles on the bottom shelf here. I have the retail portion of the brand on the top shelf, and the retail portion is divided into two separate categories, which I'm going to go over with you. In the professional brand, you're going to see that the majority of our products are in 5-ounce airless pump bottles. So this is very important because it's going to keep the formula completely stable until you get the very last drop out of the bottle. And because they are airless pumps, you're going to get pretty much all of the product out of the inside of that container. So there's no need to have to go digging and pulling packaging apart to try to get the rest of the product. You're going to get every drop out. Also, in the brand, we do have 2 jars now in the professional range because of we've introduced 2 specialty masks, and I want to talk to you about them briefly for a moment today. The oxygenating enzyme mask comes with an activator and a powder in the container. So that product works together in a mixing ratio of 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2, between your powder being the 1 part and then the liquid being the 1.5 or the 2 part. When you mix this consistency, you can cover the entire face and the neck and the chest, depending on the ratio that you use. But one thing that's beautiful about this mask is that it includes a blend of ingredients like kale and clay to help firm and tighten and continue a little bit of an exfoliation process, along with enzymes like bromelain and papain, what we know from pineapple and papaya, to help provide an exfoliation. But what a lot of these ingredients are going to do synergistically together is to pull the skin taut, provide that exfoliation, and then oxygenate the skin, so that way we can get fresh blood flow to the area, which is going to immediately plump the surface of the skin and allow our active ingredients to penetrate better. And I have been seeing the results of this mask time and time again as I've been testing out the formulation and playing with different ratios. I've noticed that when I use a higher amount of powder to liquid, that I get a stronger firming effect. But if I mix a much lesser portion, say 1 teaspoon of the powder and 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of the liquid, and create a very thin film and consistency, I still get the exfoliating and I still get the enzymatic exfoliating benefits and the oxygenating benefits, but I don't get as much of that kaolin clay powder action that really provides a lifting and exfoliate of the surface oils on the skin. So it's up to you when using this oxygenating mask as to how thick and how effective you want the mask to be. If you have a client that's more combination to oily, then I would recommend using a more generous amount of the powder and the liquid for the amount of area that you're going to cover. If you are working with a client that is a little bit more on the dry and sensitive side, I would actually recommend going back to the original recipe of 1 teaspoon to 1.5 to 2 teaspoons of the liquid, so that way you're painting on more of a thinner consistency that's not going to grip or grab the skin too much. We also have the second jar that we've added in the range is the new clarifying mask. Both of these masks we just launched this last month. You can go right now to smpbeauty.com to your wholesale account and order them for your spa. But the clarifying mask is going to look like a white creamy consistency that you're going to paint all over the face or spot treat for particular areas of congestion or problematic skin or acne related concerns. So that mask is going to be more focused on kaolin with some bentonite clay, but that focused mask of the kaolin is going to be that white drying powder helps to dry excess oils in the skin and lift it off of the surface. So for those hypersebaceous glands, this mask is going to be extremely beneficial. It does include salicylic acid along with some exfoliation from a polyhydroxy acid, gluconolactone. So gluconolactone is a very gentle exfoliating polyhydroxy acid, although in some marketing, I've seen them even refer to it as a next generation alpha hydroxy acid. The point being is that it's an extremely gentle acid that's going to provide a low level exfoliation without overstimulating the skin. So you're going to get this blend of actives along with the clay that's going to help to dry and lift that excess oil. It also includes niacinamide, a form of vitamin B. And we know that niacinamide is excellent for helping to bring healthy circulation up to the surface of the skin. And we need that oxygenated blood flow to help to speed the recovery of the skin from an acne condition. Now, this clay mask is going to go on very thin and you're going to allow it to dry, but that drying time is going to take between 5 to 10 minutes. So this masking portion does not have to be long. And I do recommend that you complement the treatment with our antibacterial serum that we have in the brand called Clarify. Clarify is a serum that can be sent home with your clients to help them balance out their skin's microbiota. That microbiome is super important for being intact to help reduce overall sensitivity and redness, but also help to fight pathogenic bacteria that could lead to future acne in the skin. Now, in our last webinar last month, we also talked about combining the Clarify serum with specialty treatments that we have in the brand for at-home use, like the AHA, BHA professional brand. This is called the Perfecting Serum. The Perfecting Serum in the Pro brand is your back bar generic alpha hydroxy acid serum that you're going to utilize for your clients to help perform a really good degreasing exfoliation prior to either an additional chemical peel, or you can just have this as your standalone exfoliation. Now, the at-home version is just over a 5% blend of the alpha hydroxy acids, whereas the professional blend is just a 10% blend. So you get a higher kick, but it still has a very balancing pH range that's not going to oversensitize the skin. Now, there are two professional exfoliants besides the oxygenating enzyme mask in the professional range for us to use on our clients, the Perfecting Serum, and then also the Renew Serum. So the Renew Serum is our newer exfoliation, which is a standalone exfoliant. It features mandelic acid. And just as a brief reminder for those that are already working with the products, the elementals range Every single formula in the elementals range is based in hyaluronic acid, both high and low weight hyaluronic acid. So that formula base with water is going to help to keep the skin stable and hydrated so that you're not having to worry about over exfoliating or over sensitizing the client's skin. The hyaluronic acid is also a very beautiful addition to use and very important when we're using our ultrafusion or our nanofusion devices, because those assist with greater ingredient absorption. So whether you're doing nanofusion or ultrafusion, when you're using the elemental serums, know that that hyaluronic acid, both levels of hyaluronic acid, are going to settle better into the skin. When I do the nanofusion with one of the elemental serums, like the plumping serum, for example, for the lip treatment, clients notice that their skin feels very cool and refreshed and immediately plump and hydrated. And that has a lot to do with that mixture of hyaluronic acid in the skin. So again, we have two professional exfoliating serums in the back bar. There is a retail version, the AHA, BHA, that can be used alone as often as 2 to 3 times a week. Although, I caution those with more oily skin that want to use a regular nightly exfoliant. It really depends on your level of sensitivity. But that continual application of those alpha hydroxy acids are going to break down that oil production on the surface over time, so that you'll notice your skin starts to become a little bit more refined. You're not as oily on the surface and you don't get as shiny. But that continued exfoliation will also make your clients more sun sensitive. So it's very important to make sure that they're using that product sparingly and keeping it to balance out their skin, not over exfoliate. Although again, one thing I love about this brand, it's very difficult to over exfoliate because of the alpha hydroxy acids that we choose. Now, when we move past the exfoliation portion and the masking portion of the facial, then it's time to focus on some of our key treatments based on what our client's concerns are. If you have a client with concerns for hyperpigmentation, I would draw them immediately to the luminous serum. The luminous serum is going to be a treatment that I would want to nano infuse or use the ultrafusion to help infuse these synergistic blend of ingredients that help to slow melanin synthesis, say that 5 times fast, from the skin. So it's important to make sure that this is getting successfully infused, and then the clients are able to also use a retail at-home version on a daily basis. Now, a lot of brightening serums will complement with some type of an exfoliant or higher level of alpha hydroxy acid to continue that exfoliation. And again, you have to be aware of that and be cautious of that. This formulation focuses more on non-exfoliating ingredients that are just going to help to reduce that melanin reaction or that melanin synthesis, so that we're not getting as much stimulation on the melanosomes, then thereby creating more melanin to put into those keratin cells. If I had clients that were concerned of a combination of hyperpigmentation combined with signs of aging, then one of my go-tos is going to be the C fusion. The C fusion includes multiple forms of vitamin C, but extremely stable forms of vitamin C. And then there is a special nanogold delivery system that helps to deliver those vitamin C molecules deeper into the skin for better effectiveness. Now, we know that vitamin C does have a role in slowing that melanin production or that melanin insertion into the keratin cell. It does help to block that transfer of the protein, but it also helps to stimulate our skin's ability to produce more collagen. And here's the thing about vitamin C. It's an essential nutrient that our skin needs in order to produce more collagen, but it's not something that our body makes naturally. It's something that we have to either apply topically or something that we have to take in through our diet. So with a daily application, both morning and night with the C fusion, they're going to see some beautiful brightening and plumping and firming results. And yes, there is a retail version of this formulation as well. So clients can take this home so that they can take it into their daily routine. That is extremely important. Just checking the chat box here really quickly. It looks like everybody's locked in with me and taking the information in. Again, if you have any other specific questions, you can throw it right into the chat. So we're going through our professional serums right now, and I'm relating them back up to the retail portion of the line, because the elementals category is where we truly have some condition-focused formulations. And again, the beauty of the line is that it's very well organized so that I know exactly which serum I'm going for based on my client's condition or concern in the back bar, but then I'm also complementing them with the appropriate elemental serum that are in these dropper bottles here on the top shelf. But let's not forget that I already have a full cleanser, daytime, nighttime routine in my live category. So that's going to be that home run category that's going to help me get my clients on a full, consistent routine of active ingredients that I'm aware of and I know is going to benefit them in their daily concerns. So again, let me reposition that for you in case you missed it. When we look at the elementals category in our retail section, you're not going to find a cleanser. You're not going to find a toner. You're only going to find condition-specific serums that are, each formula is designed to address a specific concern that your clients have. And these are all very common concerns that we have. And then there is also two moisturizers in the retail category, Moisture Infusion and Moisture Infusion Night. Now, the main difference between Moisture Infusion and Moisture Infusion Night, Moisture Infusion Night includes a few skin-specific ceramides that help to give a little more body and a little bit more superficial moisturization to the surface of the skin. Sometimes, and especially during this last winter season we just came out of, I was honestly using Moisture Infusion Night as my daytime moisturizer because my skin was just loving those additional ceramides that was keeping it so soft, smooth, and protected. But again, when it comes to the retail range of the elementals category, this is it. You're not necessarily able to build a full daily routine when using just elementals. And that's why the live category comes in to really help us close out our retail sales and make sure that our customers are using the right formulations that we need them to use in order to get the results. So when we come to the live category, there is a makeup removing smoothie, the makeup removing cleansing oil, which this is a delicious blend of oils. Every time I pump it out and touch it to my client's face, they immediately complement the sensorial experience. Plus the oils themselves feel very soft and soothing on the surface of the skin. And then there's a cleansing gel smoothie. And the cleansing gel smoothie also has beautiful natural aromas from the natural plant essences that we work with, along with giving a visual sensorial experience too. There are a lot of fun colors within the live category that are derived from pure plant notes. So this is a huge point of difference for the brand. There's also a toning spritz that is going to help you to remove any residue from the skin, but also get a very just pure liquid form of antioxidants into the surface of the skin so that the skin feels more hydrated and can take in those active ingredients. Remember, let's not forget, estheticians, that dry skin actually impedes the absorption of active ingredients. We need our skin to be very hydrated and supple. So using a toner prior to applying your treatment serums does make a big difference in how your skin's able to take in those actives. Then we have a eye cream, the eye smoothie, which is a great texture, works for all skin types and multiple concerns. And then we have both a daytime and a nighttime. So the breakfast smoothie and the dinner smoothie. You're getting a full mix of active plant essences. And this is our organic range that is going to completely hydrate and balance even the most sensitive of skin types. So there is a daytime moisturizer, there's a nighttime moisturizer, and then there is the Decadent Dessert Smoothie, which is the anti-aging serum that can be used to really boost those hydration levels and plump those signs of aging for fine lines and wrinkles. So again, I could get every single one of my clients on a full daytime and nighttime routine utilizing the live category within Skin Moderne, but then immediately supplement based on their individual concerns with one of the treatment serums from the elementals category. So that's the most beautiful thing, I think, from being a small spa suite professional. But let me tell you what, I have also managed a multi-million-dollar spa with over 15 treatment rooms. And when I think about how easy it would be to stock either my dispensary or to simply stock my treatment rooms with a full set of this back bar. Not only is that going to be budget conscious for me as a spa operator, but I know I'm going to be getting a great cost per treatment, and I know I'm going to be getting beautiful results based on the quality of this brand. So this has been an excellent small range for me to work with, and I know a lot of you are seeing those benefits as well. Now, there are some particular products that are not found in the retail category, or there are some complementing formulas that are like step up versions from one to the other. So I want to make sure that we're focused on that. There is a bioretinol from the back bar to the retail category, and the bioretinol formulation focuses on a plant derivative that, and it's not bakuchiol, by the way, but there is a plant derivative that when fermented or when taken through a specific formulation process that I'll get Richard, our CEO, to expand on, that fermentation process helps to pull the true active components of these ingredients. And this particular plant essence focuses its action on the skin in the same exact way that vitamin A does without that inflammatory response. So here at Skin Moderne, this brand really positions nanofusion or any type of nanoneedling to not go well with pure vitamin A or any of its derivatives like retinol or retinaldehyde. There are some other brands on the market that have promoted the infusion of vitamin A into the skin using some form of needling device. Yes, it can be done, and yes, it can be effective. However, there is also that inflammatory response that is just always going to happen when you use a real form of vitamin A. And is that good or not? Well, a little healthy circulation can be very beneficial, but continued inflammation after a treatment can lead to some issues. So our formulation, while acting on the skin in the same way that vitamin A does not have the same inflammatory response. And you can see that immediately when you use bioretinol in a nano infusion. When you are done, you are not going to see a high inflammatory response in the skin. It's just not going to happen. But one thing I will tell you, if you do get to towards the end of your facial and you notice that your client is still quite flushed, then your finishing serum might be the actual finishing serum. There's not a retail version of this identical to it in the retail category, but in the professional line, this finishing serum is a high concentration of red algae extract. And red algae extract not only has great antioxidant abilities, but also a great calming ability for pushing away that superficial inflammation on the surface of the skin. And that's one of the main actives, of just a few main actives that are in the finishing serum, including the high and low weight hyaluronic acid, which is going to, again, be that super hydrator and help to immediately plump those fine lines and wrinkles. Let's talk more about the professional treatments for a second, because I did mention if you got towards the end of your facial and the client was still a little red, well, we have a couple professional mask treatments within the brand, the Healing and Soothing Mask and the Snail Essence and Collagen Mask. Now, these sheet masks can be super hydrating because they are loaded with our formulation, and you can use it after a nano infusion to help cool and calm and add that hydration into the skin, or you can even use it with your ultrafusion device, and you can use the ultrafusion pen on top of this mask. The water-based formula will actually use the ultrafusion technology to penetrate that ingredient better, and when you peel the mask off after a full ultrafusion program, you'll notice that most of the serum has completely absorbed within the skin. Still, if you're not using the ultrafusion device, you can also get a hold of our ice roller. So the ice roller is a wonderful width and size for the face, and you can put on one of these sheet masks or the finishing serum and begin to roll the face until the face has fully calmed down. Now, nanofusion and ultrafusion are our specialty devices and treatments that we've made available to estheticians. You might find a lot of these technologies out there in the market, but this pen itself and the tip is patented specifically for this brand. So you're not going to find this quality construction out on the market. And I'm actually laughing because we're here in my spa room, and I have a bottom drawer over here that you can't see off camera that has two other nano needling type pens that I have bought over the years, but unfortunately their construction was quite cheap. One of them has to be plugged in the entire time, and that of course got very annoying because the cable was getting in the way as I was moving the pin. And then both of them started to loosen. One of them has a dial, another one has a dial setting on the bottom. All of those little dial constructions begin to loosen and fall apart over time, and becomes quite frustrating when you cannot use your device just because it happened to break on you one day. The tip and the pin, again, are patented and constructed specifically by Skin Moderne, and you're not going to find this quality construction anywhere else. It is chargeable and comes with 3 settings. You're going to long hold on each button to turn it on and off, and then it's got 3 settings. Now, I will say, for those of you that are already using your Nano Fusion, I tend to keep the Nano Fusion on the highest red setting the whole time for most of my clients. The only time I choose a medium or low setting is if I'm working around the eye, the lips, or if I have a client that's extremely hypervascular, meaning they bring a lot of circulation very quickly to the surface of their skin. So I might go ahead and choose the medium or low setting just so I'm not working against myself and giving myself a lot of inflammation to try to correct after the fact. We also have the Ultra Fusion pin. So the Ultra Fusion pin sits on a base and charges while it's sitting on the base. We have multiple programs to use on the client that are pre-programmed based on whether we need anti-aging and we need to stimulate collagen production and firming of the elastin, or we have 2 acne programs depending on the severity of the acne. We have a Couperose program for rosacea and redness. And the acne and Couperose programs use an alternating current so that you're stimulating more lymphatic drainage in the skin and helping to reduce inflammation. Whereas the anti-aging and the skin improvement programs use more of a consistent direct ultrasound current into the skin, which does bring up some circulation, some healthy circulation, while also helping with product absorption as well. This is the actual pad of the tip that you're going to be applying to the client's skin, and you do need a water-soluble serum to infuse into the skin and be able to conduct the ultrasound energy into the skin, much like the Nano Fusion pen. You want to use a water-soluble substance to infuse into the skin as well. There's no infusing lipids past the protective barrier of our face. So with these devices, we're able to encourage the skin to stimulate more collagen. We're able to encourage the skin to take in more of our active ingredients. And that is huge for an esthetician standpoint, because for those of you like myself who have been in this industry for 15, even 10 plus years, you know that the only way we were able to truly challenge the skin to produce more collagen was by damaging it. And of course, stimulating the healing response, stimulating the free radical cascade that helps us to bring up that inflammation and ultimately push it away. But that needed to be managed very closely. All of the chemical peels and the needling and all the things that we're doing to do ablative services on the surface to try to make the skin snap back. Well, we don't have to do that anymore. I'm so happy to know that within my career time in this industry, we've increased the technology to the point that I'm able to stimulate some beautiful results, both with these formulas and with these devices, without having to actually traumatize or injure my client's skin. And that means that I can work on the most sensitive of clients. I can work with clients that are even having issues or skin issues related to other skin conditions. We can help to quickly repair and pull that face back together so that they are feeling more hydrated, safe, and less sensitive. Now, there are contraindications. Beyond our standard contraindications that you should never work on broken skin, we should always work on an intact skin. But also with the contraindications, you don't want to do nanofusion or ultrafusion directly over the eyeball. You can work within the orbital area, but you don't want to work directly on top of that thin skin within the orbital bone area. And you never want to work directly over the eyelid. For the ultrasound device, we never want to work directly over any joint spaces or directly over the spine. So you can make sure you can cover all areas of the face, but you never want to work directly on a spinal column, and you don't want to work directly over any joint spaces. That being said, the ultrasound device is great for tightening skin of all areas. So if you do want to introduce or play around with some body areas that need a little tightening, and I don't think you can see me gesturing to a hip or an abdomen area on camera, but just know that those options are available. Just again, do not work an ultrasound technology directly over any joint spaces. Okay, so I'm just going to check the group really quickly. Thank you, Mills, for commenting Nano is my #1 service. I absolutely love to hear that it's your #1 service. And I also see again that Kimmy has using both. She loves the ultrafusion, but she's using them both separately and together. Let's talk about a couple things that you can use together successfully. So the oxygenating enzyme mask can be done successfully either before or after your nanofusion. But I will tell you that I would technically do it beforehand because it also provides an exfoliation. So I've seen the best result by doing my oxygenating mask after cleansing the skin thoroughly and even degreasing a bit with the perfecting serum. After I have allowed the perfecting serum to process for at least 5 minutes, I then use cool water to then cleanse off those alpha hydroxy acids. You want to make sure that you do remove both the perfecting serum and the renew serum after it's fully processed. It is an alpha hydroxy acid serum. It needs to be completely removed so we know there's no more exfoliation happening before we move on to our next step. Then you can move on to the oxygenating enzyme mask treatment. Again, continuing to exfoliate with that papain and that bromelain in the formulation. But then after that, the skin is soft and it's plumped and it's hydrated and we've gotten some oxygenation blood flow going. So now it's going to accept serums even better. Now it's time for nanofusion. So when you paint on your serum that you're going to infuse into the skin and begin to nano infuse it, you're going to find it absorbing into the skin faster than it ever has. Now, if I was doing the ultimate of ultimate treatments, and I know we have an esthetician in the Bay Area in California that has included her ultrafusion in a treatment she calls the Works, which is almost a 2-hour service that includes multiple services, including dermaplaning. So after she's done all of these wonderful exfoliation steps, then she goes into the ultrafusion treatment. The ultrafusion should always be done after the nano infusion and after the oxygenating enzyme mask. And that's because those are great preparatory treatments to help plump up the skin and exfoliate. But then it's time to do the ultrafusion and allow that ultrasound technology to really firm, tighten, and continue the infusion process of any other active ingredients that you've put on the skin. And yes, in case you were wondering, you can infuse 2 different serums into the skin if you are doing both nanofusion and ultrafusion. So I could choose, for example, if I was working on anti-aging and brightening, I could choose to nano infuse my luminous serum, and then when I got to the ultrafusion, apply the C fusion on the skin and use the ultrafusion to help get those active ingredients in. Both could work synergistically to help stimulate brightening properties that we really want to see come through in that client's skin. Okay, so I see you've had a couple new people join into the group. Thank you for joining us, but we're coming to the close of our presentation today. Before you run away though, I want to remind you that we're doing 2 webinars a month on Mondays. So there is another webinar coming up, and I want you to be on it with me so that we can dive even deeper into some ingredient knowledge and really carve out some individual categories of each condition and talk about how the brand can best address them. And as always, I'm going to include some demonstrations for you guys to show you how I use my nanofusion and ultrafusion on clients.